Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
It's a glorious day here on Purple Daily NFL Takes because friend of the show, the great Mike Sando from The Athletic, has put together his annual quarterback tiers.
Oh, God.
5 tiers. He talks to 50 NFL coaches, executives, et cetera,
Yep. So great.
coronating in every starting quarterback in the NFL ranked in one of the 5 tiers. And we will go through them here on today's Purple Daily NFL Takes. How do you guys feel about this? You've like written them all out by hand.
I've got them all written down.
Highlighted notes.
I've got highlighted for guys that could move up or down. But I have one question for Mike. So I'm looking through this. 34 QBs, right? Where's Shedeur? Shedeur Sanders, who was...
Well, I mean, if you had read the instructions from Mike Sando, you would know that he doesn't include rookies because we haven't seen them play yet.
Well,
so,
which is very interesting.
It is because there is a little loophole.
Because there's a guy who hasn't played yet who's
Yeah.
included.
So he said each voter placed the 34 quarterbacks into 5 tiers. Quarterbacks were then ranked by average vote and placed into tiers based on their vote distribution. So, like, if Judd was a quarterback and of the 50 votes, let's say 30 of them. Is that your like 1930s?
Bobby Ryan was passing the ball.
The forward pass.
Like the oldest leather football pants you've ever seen.
Gigantic hip pads.
Yeah.
Went
with,
into
like, a
Yankee
leather
Stadium and really took it to those Giants.
Smoking a heater.
Yes, Judd Zelgai was 7 for 52 with 16 interceptions on the day.
Bottle of beer post game.
But it says the survey excludes rookies because voters have not seen them play in the NFL. So, well, there's one significant loophole there that they decide to skip out on. Let's just go through it. Tier 1.
Right, let's do it.
So we have a new member of Tier 1 here. Because I think this other guy...
Here's a guy.
Two new members.
2 new members.
2 guys that moved up from Tier 2 to Tier 1.
You're right. Jumped 1 tier, jumped 1 tier. So... the 3 guys who stayed in Tier 1 from last year were Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen. And by the way, both Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes received 50 votes apiece for Tier 1.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen was 47 votes for Tier 1, 3 for Tier 2. So there were 3 guys that said... that Mahomes and Burrow are clearly a tier above Josh Allen. And joining those guys in Tier 1 for the first time, Lamar Jackson, welcome to Tier 1, first time in his career.
This is crazy.
And Matthew Stafford, who I believe Matthew Stafford was once, I think he was once like Tier 2.5 or 3 kind of range. And he's built his way back up to be a first-time Tier 1 quarterback. So your thoughts on those 5 guys, according to 50 coaches and executives, those are your 5 top-tier quarterbacks.
I agree completely with Mahomes, Burrow. Allen belongs in Tier 1, I think, quite clearly. I don't think that's a debate. Lamar Jackson probably should have been there previously. Matthew Stafford, I think it's cool, but he's battling a back problem. He's going to start throwing now. So, and I know that this is for his services rendered, not what he's doing in 2025. But that being said, unfortunately, I think it might be a very brief stay because while Stafford has been good and really good at times, I don't think in 2025 he's probably going to be a Tier 1 quarterback if indeed this back problem is a real issue.
There's a great quote in the Stafford thing from a defensive coordinator who voted. I guarantee you all of the Tier 1 votes for Stafford came from offensive coaches. Offensive coaches kiss that guy's ass all the time, especially guys from that system. He's really good, though. I would take him over Justin Herbert because he's a better passer with better timing. But that's probably the guy that gave him the 1 Tier 3 vote. Stafford did get a Tier 3 vote. Kissing his ass. All right. Tier 2. Jaden Daniels, So he's debuting here in tier 2.
Yes.
There's so many juicy quotes. We'll sprinkle some in here. Justin Herbert, Jared Goff, CJ Stroud, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Dak Prescott, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, and that gets you through the top 14. So they're saying 14 quarterbacks are tier 1, tier 2, and then there's a line across.
I feel like we do need to separate. I think there's too many cooks in the kitchen there in tier 2. Too many different cooks. Some cooks I really like. Some cooks that I would never eat at their restaurant. But I think we have too much of a surplus there in tier 2. But can I also just say, I meant to say this at the beginning, nothing gets me, and honestly, society, more fired up than ranking quarterbacks. I know we had a huge discussion on this on Mackie and Judd on Thursday. Nothing. There's no other thing in sports that gets us more riled up as a society than when some bozo or some obviously well-respected person like Sando comes out and says, here are the quarterback tiers, and here is going to be a bajillion people who absolutely hate it or love it. Like,
you know what? I have an idea for a Mackie and Judd podcast talker. Let's do tiers of quarterback rankings. So if you put together all of the different people and platforms that do quarterback rankings, you got Mike Sando.
Well,
You've got Chris Sims, who does he does like the top 50 or something.
Yeah.
You got PFF. I'm gonna earmark this for a Mackie and Judd podcast. Let's rank the quarterback rankings.
Has Sims done his yet?
Yeah, I think he does it in it's like June, right?
Yeah. I don't remember us talking about it. Did we talk about it?
I don't recall it
we did.
this year. But
June, it was middle of June.
Yeah, he definitely does it. He so I think the difference here though is like Sando literally grinds this out. He probably takes months, right? Contacting 50 coaches and
quotes
executives.
And,
We're talking about, some of these guys just like sit down like we would with in my case, a sheet of notepad paper and say, okay, number 1, Mahomes. So, I mean, Mike does an actual, and the tier 2, so the tier 2 description is this. So tier 1 is you can carry a team every week. Like your presence can carry that team. The tier 2 description is you can carry the team sometimes, but you're going to need help. I actually think that this list is, in that regard, is very fair. I think the tier 2, and yes, it's a ton of names, and we can question like Dak. Dak is coming off a spotty season, but he definitely has had success in the past. But I think with how it's described, that tier 2 is really, really close to being perfect. And the only one that I think could go up or down, and I'm going to put my money on going up, Jaden Daniels, who very easily could move into tier 1 this time next year.
Baker, by the way, was a tier 3 guy who I think before that, I'm just looking at his history here, Baker was tier 4 in 2023. Wow. Then tier 2 last year, now jumps into, or tier 3, then jumps into tier 2.
CJ Stroud easily could go down as well.
Yeah, well, or he could go back up, dude.
See, this is the fascinating thing to me about quarterback rankings.
I'm giving you the definition. 1,
the definition
carry his team.
Can carry his team sometimes, but not as consistently, is tier 2. He can handle pure passing situations in doses and or possesses other dimensions that are special enough to elevate him above tier 3, but does have a hole or two in his game. CJ Stroud is pretty solidly in that description. Real quick here on Brock Purdy. So part of the reason why Brock Purdy, that people look at him a little sideways, is because of where he was drafted, right? It's like, well, if the world thought he was this, then how could he possibly be this other thing? How could everyone be wrong? And one of the quotes here from a head coach, anonymous head coach on Purdy. Purdy doesn't get enough credit. The draft is over, okay? The guy has played his ass off. Recognize that. He's not the last pick in the draft anymore. The guy is one win away from being a top tier guy for some people if he had won the Super Bowl.
That was actually me. Mike Sando reached out to me, and I had that direct quote to Brock Purdy, because that's exactly how I feel about Brock Purdy.
Well, and then the debate off of that is Jalen Hurts that?
Right?
But I don't think, but I agree. I agree with this. Tier 1 should be reserved. I think if you had 4 guys, that's fair. I think that is, Tier 1 should not, like, we shouldn't be toying with that one a lot. Lamar deserves it because he can do so many different damn things. But I'm telling you, I think as far as the rankings go by various agencies, by various people, this one to me strikes me as being really close to being damn accurate.
Dude, okay, Jalen Hurts is wild here. So he's tied for 9th in the rankings, and he is tier 2. But of the 50 votes, 12 of them had him in tier 3, which a Super Bowl winning quarterback, I think it's a great team. And one of the quotes on Jalen Hurts is kind of exactly that. A really good player on a team of really good players. And so the whole thing gets elevated. But tier 3 is defined as, and we'll get to that too, a quarterback is a legitimate starter but needs a heavier running game or defensive component to win. A lower volume drop back passing offense suits him best. When you read that definition, it does apply to Jalen Hurts. But it's just fascinating that a small handful of people rank Jalen Hurts a top tier quarterback, and others, 12 of them, 4 times as many people rank Jalen Hurts a 3rd-tier quarterback versus a 1-tier quarterback.
I love it.
The Bulk had him as a 2nd-tier quarterback. But basically, if you were to take away some of the great roster construction and bells and whistles, and you gave him we might see it actually this year because they lost 2 key cornerbacks from their defensive rotation, 2 key pass rushers, Mekhi Becton, their right guard, free agent, gone, and Landon Dickerson just got carted off the field yesterday at practice with some sort of leg injury too. So we might get to see what Jalen Hurts looks like having to do a little more or carry more of the load.
Yep. And don't forget too, Declan's guy, Justin Herbert, just lost Rashawn Slater, his left tackle, for the season.
Yeah,
that's another dicey one as well.
Yeah, that's a brutal loss for the Chargers, for sure. All right, tier 3. Tier 3. Again, it's a quarterback who's a legitimate starter but needs a heavier running game or defensive component to win. A lower volume drop back passing offense suits him best. 15, Kyler Murray. Aaron Rodgers, who dropped a tier from last year. Tua, Trevor Lawrence, Geno Smith, Bo Nix debuting in tier 3. Sam Darnold jumping from tier 4 into tier 3. Drake May debuting, Caleb Williams debuting, Bryce Young jumping from tier 4 to tier 3, Kirk Cousins falling from tier 2 to tier 3. He had the biggest drop of any quarterback was Kirk Cousins. Kyler Murray's, here's a quote from one of the anonymous people. I still don't trust him. He has tier 2 talent, but he's still a tier 3 overall product. Yes. One guy ranked him as a tier 4 quarterback, which is awfully vindictive.
Yeah.
Awfully vindictive.
It felt like he saved his stock a little bit last year. And I don't know. He's not a tier 4 guy, but that's probably right. Like, he's probably between on his best day, he's a tier 2 quarterback for sure. Especially the list we just gave of all the plentiful dudes that are in there. So I think this is probably pretty fair for right now for Kyler. But I wouldn't be shocked if maybe now with a full healthy season, he might rise back up the list.
It's pretty clear from the reporting that Kyler is a tier 2 physical ability guy and a tier 3, I care about football sometimes. Like, there's too much out there about him. He has no excuse for not being in tier 2, but I don't think he cares. And he is talented. He's fun to watch. But there's too many things about him away from the field that allow you to know exactly why he probably ends up in this voting in tier 3. I got 3 tier 3 guys who, to quote my good friend Chip Scoggins, it's go time.
We got to go.
So 3, it's go time.
Yeah.
Go.
Number 1, Trevor Lawrence.
I love the ranking within the ranking.
Yes.
Here. This is just
Trevor Lawrence,
better.
you need to be tier 2. I once put you on a very special track, okay? It's go time, like big time. He's my number 1 for sure. And then my next 2 are, and this is not so much a loss of patience as I just could see it happening, Drake May, who I think is going to be good, and Caleb. Like, you are a generational number one pick. Like, the expectation for you, Caleb, was not that you're going to be good. It was that you are going to be great. I'm not saying it's go time to tier 1. I'm saying it's go time to becoming a very solid tier 2 guy. And my patience with Caleb is not super high because of the expectations. And when you're picked there with, by the way, in a really good class of quarterbacks with really no debate. Like, this was not a should Drake May, should Jaden go 1. This was a Caleb should go 1 conversation. It was no debate.
Yeah, I agree on in terms of like, it's time to get to the second tier. I think you hit on it. For like, Trevor Lawrence was supposed to be a once in 10 years guy. Caleb Williams is supposed to be a once in 10 years guy, and Drake May not that far behind in terms of talent. I don't think this next guy that I'm going to throw out, if I could add one more name to your list, was regarded as highly as those other 3 guys coming out of college. But Bryce Young, all right, you showed us a little something. They were literally ready to move on as an organization from Bryce Young in like October last year. And then the injury gods struck down on Andy Dalton, and Bryce Young goes back in. But that's a former, he was the first overall pick too, 3 years ago.
Straight up. Yeah.
Which one, before we get to the rest of these, the tier 4, which of these tier 3 guys, if you had to stake an uncomfortable wager on one of these guys, is for sure going to rise up at least one tier? Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Tua, Trevor Lawrence, Geno Smith, Bo Nix, Sam Darnold, Drake May, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, Kirk Cousins.
You know what? I'm going to give you a guy that I thought would not be good, and I was 100% wrong. So far, he's been good. Bo Nix.
Bo Nix.
With Sean Payton, with that team, I mean, Sean Payton, again, has proven he can coach QBs. We talk about O'Connell, the young guys who are doing a great job. Well, guess what? Sean Payton took Drew Brees from being good and helped to make him great. And Bo Nix, if I had to wager my house, if I had to say my house is on the line, Barney and Stella and everything, I would go Bo Nix.
Okay. Wow. I disagree. I'll go. Dex, you go next.
Yeah, I was going to say Bo Nix because I think Bo Nix played great last year. Bo Nix is up there. I'm kind of sour now on Tua. I wouldn't be surprised they put it all together, but like I feel like I've been saying that about him for the last few years. So I probably stick with I'm with Judd. I stick with Bo Nix. Everyone else, and I like Bryce. I think the Panthers are going to be better than their win total. I don't know if they're going to be like a juggernaut, but that division's wide open for the taking. So I like that as well. Bo Nix is the guy, though, that I was going to graduate in.
I think Nix is he's the most experienced college quarterback ever, and he jumps into a Sean Payton infrastructure, and it's a nice little infrastructure. I think he's a really good, solid tier 3, ready-made, out of the package tier 3 quarterback. No, period. Like he's clearly a serviceable NFL quarterback. I think Drake May's the guy from this bunch. I think Drake May's, if it's who's going to elevate a franchise as opposed to needing to be elevated by a coach and a system and all those things more, I think Drake May fits that description. And by the way, he'll have to do that if the Patriots are going to get to like 8, 9, 10 wins, because Stephon Diggs, off an injury, getting older, is the only real reputable weapon right now that you would say on paper. But Vrabel's going to come in and at least set some winning parameters within that culture that haven't been there in a few years. Okay, before we get to tiers 4 and 5 and where JJ McCarthy falls for you Vikings fans out there, Grandpa's Barbecue is seasoning this episode of Purple Daily NFL Takes, Dex.
That's right, because it's tier 1. It's tier 1 for all your barbecue needs. There is no debate here. You talk to all the scouts, you talk to the evaluators, you talk to even bozos, and they'll say the same thing. It's a tier 1 barbecue. It's got the dry rubs, it's got the sauces, and we're still in the heart of it, baby. It's August. Plus, if you're someone like me that still likes to grill basically year-round, I will clear away of the snow to get to that damn grill to make sure I'm still grilling in the wintertime. So whether it's summertime, fall, winter, doesn't matter. Go to Grandpa's Barbecue Shop. You can stock up, free shipping on orders $50 or more. Plus, locally here in the Twin Cities, you can find them at Fratelloni locations as well. So go check out grandpa'sbarbecueshop.com.
Also, you guys, as of the recording of this here, just a few hours into our annual Power of Sports auction benefiting the Courage Kenny Rehabilitation Institute. You've helped us raise $6,000 by bidding and buying some of the packages that we have available at scorenorth.com/bid. So we want to raise $20,000 this week for Courage Kenny, which helps with children and adults who experience life-altering injuries and disabilities. A shout out to Rolex Vans, who's matching some of the funds this week to their support of Courage Kenny. But in the Buy It Now section here, there's some really fun things like Adam Sandler, who's on fire again after Happy Gilmore 2. So we have a suite for you to watch Adam Sandler at the now newly named Grand Casino Arena in St. Paul on Wednesday, October 22nd. Also, Burt Kreischer is coming to the same arena. We've got a suite available. There are Buy It Now tickets for a suite experience to watch those two comedians. We also have, if you want to hang out for the Gophers home opener against Buffalo, in a suite at Huntington Bank Stadium with me and Thor Nystrom, and maybe even Judd, who's disappointed we did not technically invite him, but you're going to be there too.
Yeah, true.
Come hang out with us. Yep. Those are Buy It Nows right now. scorenorth.com/bid. scorenorth.com/bid. Sorry, Joe. I didn't mean to not invite you. But Thor's like a big college football fan.
I get it.
He really wanted to be a part of it. So
no, it's fine.
Okay, the rest of the tiers here. Tier 4. A quarterback could be an unproven player, so there's not enough information for voters to classify, or a veteran who ideally would not start all 17 games. So you're either a crappy veteran, washed up veteran, or there's not enough information for them to put you in a higher tier. 26, Russell Wilson. 27, Justin Fields. Then it goes Michael Penix, JJ McCarthy at 29, Daniel Jones 30, Joe Flacco 31, Anthony Richardson 32, Spencer Rattler at 33. Here's the write-up on McCarthy because I know everyone's curious. So he drew all tier 4 votes because he's yet to play in an NFL game, not because voters are necessarily down on him. Quote from a former GM. I would have hope for him with that coach and that system if he could stay healthy. He does have that slight build, which I don't think he has a slight build. I don't know where. Slight build?
McCarthy?
Do you think he's like a small guy?
I don't think he's a big guy.
Bryce Young is a small guy. Tua is a small guy.
Well,
He's not. Well, I mean, he's not. I wouldn't call him.
6'5".
Yeah, right. I wouldn't call him an ideally big guy. I also think though that there is a stigma now from the people that saw how much weight he lost, and that picture on the sidelines, like that just seems to follow him around.
6'3", 220.
And he's gained the weight back. So, as far as size go, would I like 6'5"? Yes. Do I think that he's a small guy who's going to just fall down and be hurt because he's so small? No, I don't.
There's a lot of like, I hope he's not injury prone. Okay.
Yeah.
A head coach said, I just don't hear a lot of slam dunk stuff coming out of there.
It doesn't mean anything.
I don't know if the Vikings have been really open privately or publicly about what is or isn't happening inside those doors.
Yeah.
I said, how healthy is he going to be? Another coach said they're only doing one joint camp with New England. He plays on Monday night at Chicago to open the season. I'm pretty interested to see what that looks like. So just a lot of unknown about what this could be.
Totally fair. Totally fair. I think this is a perfect place to start because the expectations are not high. I also think that this goes back to that there is a national narrative about him that is not positive. It seems very odd, and I don't know why. But like if they came in and saying, "Oh man, this guy should be like tier 3 slam dunk," it would be like, okay, we don't know that. So I think it's fair. But it is interesting this week at the joint practices. Enemy not number 1, probably 3 in this town right now. Diana Rossini from The Athletic is going to be here.
Saw that. She said she's very excited to get to Minnesota with the eyeball.
Yeah, I wouldn't call her 1. I mean, there's certain. I mean, Ross Tucker.
She's up there though. As from the Rodgers stuff, she is.
Yes,
she's
she
certainly.
is.
It's something. It's something.
And then tier 5, there's one quarterback in tier 5.
This is so funny.
This is so unnecessary.
Yeah.
Best suited as a backup, and it's poor Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett.
Yeah. You know, I think you could have given him company
Yeah.
by sticking a few
on.
of these vets with him.
Come on.
Like, let's
Well,
be honest.
What do you mean? Who?
Joe
these are-
Flacco. At the end
no,
of the
I'm
day,
saying, like, who are you mad at? The anonymous 50 coaches?
No. I just feel bad for the guy that he got stuck alone in tier 5 in this, like, he's like, am I that much worse than Spencer Rattler? The answer's probably no.
But people think there's still hope for Spencer Rattler because we haven't seen enough of him yet. I think people have seen enough of Kenny Pickett, unfortunately. I'd take him as a Vikings. If you want to stash him on the list of backup quarterbacks, I'd take him into quarterback
he's
rehab
just
school.
sticking there like a sore thumb, though.
Daniel
That's not on
Jones.
your football team. Tier 6.
Daniel Jones anonymous quotes. One offensive coach said, I get nervous with him. I understand if you're not very good on offense and can't protect, there's going to be plays where you look bad, but there's too many plays where the guy has a wide open look and throws it in the dirt or 10 feet over someone's head.
Yeah, that's not wrong.
Jeez.
That's not incorrect.
Oh, man. So those are your tiers. Mike
God.
Sando's tiers from The Athletic.
Quick question. Do you think that Kirk Cousins belonged in tier 3 now?
No.
Okay.
I think he belongs in tier 4.
Because I was going to say, if a team trusts Penix to start and they don't trust Kirk as much, it seems sort of weird that Penix, like, I think Penix and Kirk probably both belong in tier 4.
Yeah, tier 4 is a veteran quarterback who ideally would not start all 17 games versus tier 3, a quarterback who's a legitimate starter but needs a heavier running game and or defensive component to win. A lower volume drop back passing offense suits him best.
Yeah.
He's very 3.5-y. He's like kind of between tier 3 and tier 4.
Tell Sando. You call Sando and tell him or text.
Well, his voting average was 3.5.
Okay.
He had 26 votes for tier 3, 24 votes from tier 4. And those are general managers and head coaches and offensive coordinators in the NFL. So save your angry emails, the 5 of you Cousins Crusaders who still reach out on a regular basis.
It's probably from when he used to come on the radio days, but I have Mike Sando's phone number. I did not know that.
Well, you booked him once for our show.
Did
think
I
I
did.
shared
He
it
did
with
come on
you.
Purple Daily, I remember, with us too.
Yeah, he
But
did.
I don't know
I
if
think
I
I
had his phone
shared it.
number. I was like having Dave's like, do I have his phone number? And I do. I do have Mike
Gave it to
Sando's
you.
phone number.
Yeah, I gave it to you. And
Well, he also called me for Brock
No, I
Purdy
gave it to
quote.
you.
The Brock Purdy quote that we read, that was from me.
Oh, that was from, okay.
That was direct
I'm
quote
glad that you are
from me.
now classified as a, I guess since you're not a coach, you're probably classified then as an executive.
That's
which
right.
is great.
Yep,
That's right.
executive
Anonymous.
producer. I mean,
Anonymous. Yeah.
what's the difference?
So, yeah, there's those are the legendary Mike Sando's quarterback tiers.
awesome.
Job well done, Mike.
That is awesome.
Good stuff, dude.
Job well done.
All right, yeah, scorenorth.com/bid if you want to check out all the things that are available for auction and to buy. And, yeah, we'll see you guys for Purple Daily, the main show, tomorrow.